it's kind of keeping your eyes peeled for the situation. And once you start noticing it, then you're going to be like, oh man, that's everywhere.
I feel like for myself as a parent, this is something that I didn't quite understand early in my parenting, is the importance of asking heart-probing questions, as Ginger Hubbard puts it. Ask questions all the time, even to little itty bitty kids, like, okay, is what you're doing right or is it wrong? Is it sinful or is it obedient? And getting them to ask those questions themselves. But as parents, I even still find for myself, it seems so natural to just tell them things, to just speak to them and at them instead of asking them questions and making them have to think through what it is that they're doing, why they've made the decisions that they've made, why they are thinking the things that they're thinking. And those heart-probing questions are so important. And I have to be so intentional. That does not come naturally to me because I just want to tell my girls, this is what you should do. And this is what you should think. And I'm thinking the right thing and I know the right thing and you don't. Therefore, you should just listen to me and do what I say.
Receive my wisdom, child.
I feel like it's just cut to the chase. Like, I'm just going to tell you the end game, right? I already know where this is going. So let me just tell you. But it doesn't ingrain it in them.
No.
So what, Hillary, help us that struggle with that to come up. Where do we get these good questions? Like, I just draw a blank. I'm like, I should ask a really good question right now, but I'm just not sure which one.
I think it's one of those things where the beautiful part, I think, about the first book, the Mama Bear Apologetics, is that people think of apologetics and they think it's an information dump. But the first book, at least, wasn't an information dump. It's more like you've got all this stuff that's around you. How do we sort through it? And so, I mean, if we want to narrow it down to what questions should we be asking them, I would just say when you hear something that seems a little off, what do you think they mean by that? Do you think that is true? What makes that true? What not true? One of the things that I think happens a lot is people are starting to use, and we go into this in the second book, actually, kind of these words that package a lot into them, like assault has happened and bullying has happened. It's basically these words that are interpreting a situation for us. And so not only do you ask, what do you mean by that word? How did you come to that conclusion? But what actually happened? So whenever they're being told that something happened, saying what actually happened, and the way you can know, if you know, or if the child can explain what actually happened, you say, okay, if you were a director and you were basically trying to instruct actors to act out the exact situation, would you be able to do it? What would you ask those actors to do? What would you ask those actors to say if they're still like, not quite sure, or they say something like, you're just so stupid. Be like, oh, did they actually say that? No, that's basically what they said. Well, no, that's not what they actually said. So let's see, are you interpreting this correctly? I don't know. I just find the world, especially the world we're in right now, is just this rich playground of things that can be analyzed, even down to if you see some of the advertisers. I remember John and I walking along at the state fair, and it said something like, you deserve a new bathroom. And John and I, we just make these snarky comments mostly to ourselves, like, how do they know I deserve a new bathroom? He's like, how do they know I don't beat you at home? I was like, how do they know I haven't killed somebody? Do I still deserve a new bathroom? And so a lot of times I think kind of bringing humor into it kind of helps the kids. It makes it kind of a fun game where when you see these statements, you can kind of make fun of them there because you're like, no, not everybody deserves a new bathroom.
Right.
Sure.
So just it's kind of keeping your eyes peeled for the situation. And once you start noticing it, then you're going to be like, oh man, that's everywhere.
It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And also determining motive, like why are they telling me I need a new bathroom? Because if we can see where someone's coming from when they give us information, it helps us understand.
Yeah, and that's actually a good point for even when you're not trying to make something super but not trying to turn it into a humorous situation where you're just kind of looking at the motivations on stuff, like teaching kids to kind of use their sanctified imagination for things like, we'll say, I have something that's in the discipleship workbook for the study for the Guide to Sexuality, and it's talking about the image of God game, where we're training the kids to recognize who is made in the image of God and how do you treat people who are made in the image of God. And so you start out with just, assessing, yes, anyone who's human, it doesn't matter if they're dressed like a clown, they're a pregnant woman, the baby in the womb, a paraplegic, a homeless man on the street, doesn't matter. They're all made in the image of God. Puppies, kittens, beautiful flowers, delightful as they may be, not made in the image of a God. And then you say, what actions reflect the image of God versus what actions don't reflect the image of God. So that person who was in the checkout line that basically just cussed us out, were they reflecting the image of God? You ask later in the car.
Yeah.
Or, just different things that are or are not reflecting the image of God. And sometimes you can even say, what do you think might have happened to that person today? What's something that you can picture? And like, I'll always remember after my sister had passed, I had to go to the grocery store. I was staying at their house. And I was kind of receiving all the food. I was just doing a lot of the taking care of stuff. And I had to go to the grocery store. And I remember walking around just in this haze. Sorry.
Haze.
I was getting like phase. Yeah. I was in this haze. And I thought, I'm sure I could like flip out on someone if something happened here, and I would have no idea. And they would have no idea what was going on. It made me think, anytime I see someone walking around the grocery store, I don't know their story, and I don't know what they're going through right now. So asking, why do you think they did that? What might cause someone to behave like that way kind of can help build that empathy beyond just any kind of intellectual prowess. So I like the way you said that, Aby.
Homeschool Insights is sponsored by CTC Math. If you're looking for a great online math program, visit ctcmath.com and try it for free. For more great homeschool inspiration and resources, listen to the Schoolhouse Rocked podcast every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday.